Hey, it's Will from Nexus Performance, and today we're going to talk about the glute-ham raise. The glute-ham raise is a great tool for developing hamstrings, something that a lot of lifters lack strength in, and provided that you can do it correctly, will bring them up quicker than anything else. The best thing about a glute-ham raise is that unlike an isolation exercise for hamstrings, we're also tying in the rest of the body. We also tie in core rigidity, rigidity through our hips, and we can learn to hold that whilst moving through our knees. So it really works on a whole systemic level. Common techniques, these faults we see, is simply losing that hip, losing those ribs, going into the extension throughout the body. That's probably the main one that we see, and learning to control that will carry over big time to deadlift, squatting, as well as all of your accessory lifts as well, and getting out of pain in general. The other faults that we see are just rushing through the movement, so we really like to set a tempo for these. And the last one is just turning into a full back extension by coming out of the bottom, by driving into extension really hard. So again, losing that position through here. So similar thing going on. So we're going to go through some glute ham raise progressions and regressions. So like I said in the first video, if you can do these correctly, they are a great tool for building hamstrings. If you do not do them correctly, all you're going to drive is more issues throughout the body, more compensation throughout the body, a jacked up lower back, jacked up hip flexors, all that stuff that comes with extension in general, and which is a big issue in powerlifting to begin with. So to give a person these, we have to qualify them for it. For that, I really like to see them do a shelk or a supine hip extension leg curl on the ground. If they can do that really well, we can get them to do a back extension and learn how to use hamstrings and glutes to pull through that, as opposed to extending with the back, so more of a hip extension on a back extension machine. And then when we get to this, we can go through an isometric hold at the top and teach them what they are feeling for. So where they're feeling for their heels, they're feeling for their hamstrings, they're feeling for that neutral hip and pelvis relationship. Once they can get that, we can start moving and start going through eccentrics, start going through banded or dowel progressions, and then once they can do a full one normally, then we can start to progress it. So our progressions are going to be mainly based around hand position. So we like to reach forward during our normal ones. Once people get more confident for that, we're going to move it up until we get them above the head. And if you can hold your hands up above your head and still maintain position through your ribs and hips, fantastic, like you're a really strong person. So it's to get a person to there, you are strong. You're strong, and to get more out of the glute ham raise, you're going to have to start adding weight. But we'll say that for another video, because most people are not going to get there. Okay, so before people can get to a full glute ham raise dynamic movement, I like to bring them into it with just an isometric. So what I'm teaching the person is I'm trying to get them to feel for the right muscles working. So I want them to feel their heel driving into this pad. I want them to feel their hamstrings going really hard, their glutes are switched on. I want them to feel their ribs are down and they're getting ab during it. So what I do to teach that is I'll reach forward. We're not hunching over, we're just reaching. And I'm just coming forward far enough that they start to feel tension on their hamstrings. So through here, I'm going to cue heels, hamstrings, glutes, abs, and with that we're going to do breaths here. So full exhale, that gets me more abs. Inhale without losing the ribs, and then I'm just going to progress people further and further down and get them to hold it throughout. From here we'll go into an eccentric. So this is where we can use a dowel if it's necessary. The one problem I do see with it is that people just go like this, and then they'll use their arms into a tricep extension. But if you can cue it correctly, we're just going to use it to give us a bit of an assistance while we hold all those muscles in a good position. From there, we're just going to do eccentric. So same thing, heels, hamstrings, abs. And we're going to do time and eccentric. And then they'll use the handles, or you can help them back up. And then from here we start to get into our progressions. So the first one would be just a normal controlled position with our hands reaching down, get that rib position. Heels, hamstrings, glutes, abs. Exhale. From there, once they can hold that, I'm going to bring the hands out here in front. Might start to see breakdown in people through this rib position. They'll start to get this happening at this point. And then if they can really get past that, up the I struggle with that myself, so if you can do that for good reps, if you're a really strong person, I congratulate you. If you have any questions about that, shoot us a message.